With us now is Congressman Carlos Jimenez, a Republican from Florida who is on the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman, thank you for being with us. We have this exchange now that was on Signal, which is not a government app, where the Secretary of Defense is telling people exactly what time planes will be launched and exactly what time bombs will fall, hours before they are set to fall. How would you describe that information?
I would describe that information as highly sensitive, and it shouldn't have gone out on a Signal chat. That's things that should be discussed one-on-one or in a skiff. That's not something that should go out on a Signal chat. At least that's what we've been told here. That's what I was taught here when I became a congressman. Those things are discussed in the skiff and only in the skiff, or I don't know what the rules are for the administration. I mean, they're the ones that classify stuff, so I would assume that in the White House or there's some other places that that information can be shared.
How would you describe the level of honesty and disclosure over the last 24 hours from the likes of Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who has said, there were no war plans texted, I know what I'm doing? Well,
look, this is obviously a huge mistake. I think what we should do is just fess up to it. Okay, we made a mistake. We will clean this up. It will not happen again. No U.S. servicemen were killed, and the strikes came out successfully. And so you move on, and then you take responsibility for what happened. And you said, yeah, this was unfortunate. Somebody must have hit the wrong button or the wrong person, and included somebody that shouldn't have been on that Signal chat. And then you learn from this, and you say, well, these things can't happen anymore on Signal. Signal is used by a bunch of us for a number of things to keep our conversations kind of private, but there's no sensitive information that should be exchanged on Signal. And so that's what you do. You just say, hey, we'll learn from this. We're human. Everybody makes a mistake. Fortunately, nobody was hurt in this instance, and then you move on and you don't do it again.
Secretary Hegseth says that these are not war plans. Do you think these are war plans?
Oh, this, it's an outline of what is about to happen. I don't know. I'm not in the Defense Department, so I don't know what they consider a war plan, but it certainly is a strike plan. Now, it doesn't say where they're going to hit. It just says this is the package that's going to go out. But it doesn't. From what I read, they didn't identify specific target locations, and so in that sense, it wasn't a complete plan.
No, but it gives the exact time bombs will drop. This is when the first bombs will definitely drop. 14:15, it says, and we know from the previous exchange this is all about the Houthis.
Excuse me, I said.
Okay, hang on.
I said,
right.
okay,
I
said that. I didn't say that, but it doesn't give you specific places that are going to be bombed. At least what I read, okay? And so
no, it doesn't.
I agree, yeah.
But
they gave you the strike package, but
it tells you that the target's the Houthis. So that kind of narrows it down. So if it were released, the entire Houthi
No, not
operation.
really. Yeah, they're all over Yemen, okay? It narrows it down to a country, okay? It doesn't tell you, hey, we're going to hit this particular village, this particular city, this particular target, this particular individual. That's what I was trying to get to. Does it say here's the strike package and it's going to go out and that bombs are going to fall this time, but does it really tell you where exactly? And you're talking about Yemen, which is a country. It's not not tied to any one specific location. Hey, it's a mistake. We'll own up to it. Like I said, own up to it. It's a mistake. Learn from it. Don't do it again. And fortunately, no U.S. servicemen were lost. And I think from every indication that the bombing strike was a success. And so, again, we got to move on. And I know that the president will take the steps to make sure it doesn't happen again. And then you learn from this, because we are human, and you move on.
Had the Houthis known 2 hours beforehand the exact time the bombs will fall, even if they didn't know which house they would fall on, would it have been useful information to them?
Probably, because they'd say, hey, the bombs are about to fall somewhere on us in about 2 hours. Okay. And so go hide somewhere or move from somewhere, because somehow some bombs are going to drop on our heads in about 2 hours. So would it have been useful? Of course it's useful, all right? But fortunately, the reporter did not disclose that, didn't put it out. and the targets apparently were hit as they were intended to be hit. And so, again, yeah, I mean, I'm not telling you that this thing, that somehow it's okay that it happened. It shouldn't have happened. And again, you learn from your mistakes, and you make sure you don't do it again in the future.
And I appreciate what you're saying here. Part of it's just common sense, right? Obviously, if they had known beforehand, it would have been useful to them. And I appreciate the way you lay that out. You talk about the need to fess up and just move on. Has the last 24 hours of response from the White House been in that lane of what you call fessing up, admit the mistake, and moving on?
Well, look, maybe the president didn't understand everything that was on that chat, and so again, he needs to look within his administration, get to the bottom of it, make sure it doesn't happen again, and then move on. And unlike Afghanistan, where 13 Marines were actually killed because of a botched operation, and nobody really took blame for that, I think we just move on. We made a mistake. Yes, admit it and go and move on. That's what we need to do. And fortunately, in this case, no service people were killed, and the targets were hit, and apparently successfully. So yeah, it was a mistake, but it didn't have tragic consequences, or at least not to America. It did have tragic consequences to the Houthis.
Look, and thank God for that. Who should investigate this?
Yeah.
Who should investigate this at this point?
Well, I think, Congress has a role to play in here. The House Armed Services Committee has a role to play here. And other committees of jurisdiction have a role to play. But I don't think there's anything here that needs to be, wow, there's some secret here. It's all pretty much in the open of what happened. I certainly can understand what happened and why it happened. And so I don't think this is going to take long to figure out who did what and how it got to be, that this reporter got to be on this link. And so that's the one thing. And people are saying, hey, that reporter is not even on my phone. Well, let's check that out. And how in the world did this reporter end up getting this information when he's not supposed to be on your phone? I can't put together a chat group on my phone unless the individuals are actually on the phone. I think that maybe that person is there, and that Mike may not even know that he was there, put him there inadvertently. Who knows? Okay, that's what we need to find out. How did this person get in it? But also, the final thing is, hey, you're not supposed to have these kinds of conversations on a chat group. Get people together in a room, discuss it in a room, in a classified setting when you have these kinds of discussions. I thought the discussions were fascinating, the different points of view. Kind of gets into the head of each of the individuals, and that there is discourse and there is discussion inside the administration, which, by the way, is a really good thing. You just don't want to have a bunch of people saying yes, yes, yes. There was disagreement in that group, and then the decision was made and it was carried out.
Congressman Carlos Jimenez, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your thoughts in the free-flowing discussion this morning. Please come back. Thank you.
Joining us right now is the Democratic Congresswoman, Chrissy Houlihan of Pennsylvania, sits on Armed Services, sits on House Intelligence. The committee, the DNI, and the CIA director are about to hear before. And also the Congresswoman, of course, is a veteran of the U.S. Air Force. Congresswoman, if you can sit with me for a second, I'm just going to read some of CNN's new reporting around all of this that has just come into my email, and it is quite relevant. This coming from Natasha Bertrand and Zachary Cohen, my colleagues. And here's what they say. The information Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth disclosed in the Signal chat was highly classified at the time he wrote it, especially because the operation had not even started yet. This is according to a U.S. defense official familiar with the operation and another source who was briefed on it afterward. And that's just the beginning of their reporting. Congresswoman, your reaction now seeing these messages put out?
Well, clearly these folks have been caught in a huge lie. And we knew it was a lie because we knew that the reporter had spoken about what was included in these text messages, which was weapon systems, which was targeting, which was timing. Here it says 12:15 F-18 launch, 13:45 trigger-based F-15 launch at target at his known location. How much more specific can you get in terms of things that would absolutely be classified information? on a channel that they absolutely know, are willfully aware is not a communication channel that they should be allowed to share this sort of information on. And so heads should roll. People should be fired. Frankly, people should have resigned long ago. I served in the military, had a TSSCI clearance, and had I done something as stupid as this and as irresponsible as this, I would be walking into my commanding officer and resigning long ago.